I love the Daredevil live-action series. From season 1 of the Netflix show all the way to Disney's Daredevil Born Again, this series just means so much to me. I mean, since I first watched the show back in 2021, I've fully rewatched it 3 times, and I actually just capped off my latest rewatch. The atmosphere and the tone that they're able to capture with these characters and these stories is just unlike anything I've ever seen before. But, as much as I love this show, it is not all perfect. In fact, the series has a certain season that feels significantly worse than the others. If you were to go around asking Daredevil fans which season was the best, you would probably hear a lot of season 3, that's my answer. You may even hear season 1, people keeping it classic, and you may even hear Born Again. But I would argue the answer you would hear the least is season 2. The Daredevil community has drastically different opinions when it comes to most things about the series. I mean, that's normal. But one of the most universally agreed upon takes is that Daredevil season 2 is the worst season. But why? And is this valid? I mean, what makes season 2 so much worse than the others? Well, today we're going to be breaking down the good and the bad of season 2 in order to answer those questions. But before we jump right in, I want to hear your take on season 2. If it's your favorite, you're not alone. Many people, including myself sometimes, do defend this season. So if you like this season, if you hate it, or if you don't care for it, let me know why in the comments. But now let's jump into the good, and there is actually quite a bit. The major highlight of Season 2 has to be the Punisher. I mean, this was our first official introduction to Jon Bernthal's Punisher, and the rest has been history. I mean, you couldn't have casted anyone better to play this role. They absolutely nailed it here. And on top of the casting being perfect, I think the writing for the Punisher was also perfect. From his introduction, to his backstory, to his interactions with Daredevil, to his fight scenes, to his conclusion at the end of Season 2, I mean, he was just perfect in this season. You get the famous rooftop scene, you get the graveyard scene, which is so underrated. You get the trial of the century. I mean, this was all fantastic. And you may be wondering, hey, if the Punisher story is so good in this season, and he's in most of the season, why is this the unanimous worst season of Daredevil? The answer to that one is simple. While the Punisher is in most of season 2, there's still a decent amount of season 2 where he's either not there, or he's not a central enough focus. Now, I know he's not the main character, but for about a solid 5 episodes, he was the main antagonist, and that's when season 2 was at its best, in my opinion. Plus the trial, of course. But as we know, they did veer off, and they chose to explore other storylines. We all know how that went, but yeah, I mean, the more Punisher this season gave us, the better it was. In fact, I would argue if they somehow were able to stretch this Punisher arc fully across the entire 13 episodes and focused on that instead of the Hand, we would be looking at potentially the best Daredevil season, period. But that's not how it turned out. So yeah, the Punisher is the clear highlight of season 2. I could probably go on and on, but let's move on. Another plus for this season had to do with our main character, Matthew Murdock. The way his 2 lives clashed and interfered with one another during this season was just spectacular. It showed you the very real consequences of living a double life. Matt is forced to constantly make sacrifices throughout this season, jeopardizing the trial of the century, his career as a lawyer, his best friend, his girlfriend. I mean, it was so interesting to see him try to juggle these 2 lives. So I don't think this is a hot take, but season 2 showed that struggle of balance better than any other season ever did. Even the biggest season 2 haters, I feel like you have to acknowledge that. So yeah, that was great. I also really loved where they took Wilson Fisk in this season. Seeing him in prison, seeing the contrast between this and his old life was pretty cool. But what I liked the most is how he slowly rose up to power within this jail. I mean, he slowly made his connections, he had people on the outside working, and by the time Matt pays him a visit, Wilson is running the whole damn prison. I just love seeing Wilson be the ruthless, manipulative kingpin. His character is just at its best when he's in control of an operation that just ruthlessly blackmails their enemies. I mean, that's who Kingpin is. And it was really fun to see him just take control of this prison. You get the iconic scene where Matt questions him, and he's like, yeah, ask the guards, they'll deny it. Ask the prisoners, they'll deny it. These guys will cut their tongues out before they talk. Some crazy stuff. Love to see it. And then there were 2 more things I wanted to mention before we get into the bad. Karen's reporter/investigator arc was fantastic, and her connection to Frank Castle and his story was great as well. We further developed that relationship in the Punisher series, so that was great. And then another highlight for season 2 were the fight scenes. I mean, you get Daredevil versus Punisher, you get the Punisher's prison fight scene, and then fight scenes with Daredevil, Elektra, Stick, the Hand. Those were all pretty pretty well done. Now, I could probably continue going on about the good of this season. There is more, but those were my main points. So let me know what you think about those, but now we're going to move on to the bad of season 2. And yeah, there's a pretty decent amount. I guess the only logical place to start is the Hand. That whole storyline, which includes Nobu, all the other ninja, Stick, Elektra, the lore of the Black Sky, all of it. Now, I actually don't think this plot is bad in premise, I just don't think it's executed particularly well, and it's also just so random and out of place within the Netflix Daredevil series. I mean, season 1 is about trying to take down an ultra-powerful man through the power of the law. It wasn't easy, but we did it. Season 3 is about taking that same man down again, but this time we're contemplating if we trust the law or if we do it Daredevil's way. Maybe he's just too powerful to be left alive. Matt comes about this close to killing him, but we decided to trust the system once again, and we took him down. So hey, what's the plot of season 2, which just so happens to fall in between those two seasons? Well, it's a story about ninjas fulfilling a prophecy from thousands of years ago, using a weapon called the Black Sky, and using some sort of ritualistic machine to bring people back to life? And you're telling me the finale ended with Daredevil fighting an army of hundreds of ninjas? I mean, do you see how just random and out of place season 2 feels next to the other 2 seasons? I hope I was able to put that into perspective. But on top of it being out of place, I don't think the Hand storyline was handled particularly well. Pun intended. Like, I'm still kind of fuzzy on what exactly they were after, and maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, that could be my fault. But yeah, like, they're an evil organization, I guess they want to rule the world, and then Elektra being the Black Sky, that was such a mid-twist. I mean, if they explained everything a little bit more, maybe I could get behind it, but what do you mean this random girl is the secret weapon for this secret ninja organization that is thousands of years old? Like, yeah, she's a good fighter and she's cool, but this is the Black Sky that Stick was hyping up for Matt's entire frickin' life? I mean, I'm just not seeing it. Now, don't get me wrong, I did like Elektra in this season. I thought her relationship with Matt was pretty cool, but man, they really went off the deep end with that whole Hand storyline. Things just got crazy really quick, and even though I would say I still kind of enjoy the Hand, I mean, this is clearly the weakest plotline from the entire Daredevil series, and it does drag this season down. And then on top of that, we gotta talk about how the trial of the century, Frank Castle's trial, kept on getting interrupted by this Hand storyline. And look, I know all the back and forth between the trial and the Hand, it's meant to show Matt's 2 lives literally conflicting in real time, which I like and I praised earlier, but dude, it was just such a big sigh moment whenever we'd be getting something really cool with the Punisher, and then it just cuts to Matt, Elektra, and Stick in his dark ass apartment talking about the war. I mean, honestly, dude, like I mentioned earlier, I just capped off my latest rewatch, and I noticed that the later episodes of season 2, I constantly found myself pausing the episode to see how much is left. Not because it was bad and not because I wasn't enjoying myself, but it just felt like these episodes were taking forever and it felt like they were dragging on. But when I got to season 3, those 50-minute episodes went down like a 20-minute episode of Naruto. I couldn't believe those episodes were over when they were over. And I guess that may have to do with how much I like season 3, but I also just think it goes to show a difference in quality. And then one more thing I did want to touch on is the fact that the Hand storyline had to wrap up in an entirely different show. I mean, I'm not too mad about this because I think the Defenders are pretty cool, but wow, I mean, you introduced this entirely new, very complex, yet somehow underdeveloped storyline for season 2, and you don't even wrap it up in season 2. But let me know what y'all think about that. It's not such a huge deal to me again. But yeah, those are my main negatives with season 2. Essentially, it all had to do with the Hand. But let's go back to the question we posed at the beginning of the video. What makes season 2 so much worse than all the other seasons? Your short, easy answer is the Hand. All things considered, I think they're a relatively uninteresting, antagonistic group, at least when you compare them to Wilson Fisk, but he's like an S-tier villain, to be fair. So look, I still like this season a lot. It has a ton going for it, like the Punisher mainly, and I never cleared this up, but when I say season 2 is the worst season of Daredevil, I am not saying it's bad. In no world am I trying to say that. I just think compared to season 1, season 3, and Born Again, it's not quite as good. I would still personally take season 2 of Daredevil over any other MCU Disney Plus show, not counting Born Again. But yeah, I've given you my takes, so once again, I would love to hear yours. Give me your ranking of the 4 Daredevil seasons, and give me your take on season 2. Is it overrated? Is it overhated? Maybe is it underrated? Let me know. But that will be the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. consider subscribing for more content like this. If there's any other Marvel movie or show, or just any other movie or show in general that you want me to cover, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.